I think an ideal Bronco is a passionate football player that plays hard, that is the type of guy that realizes the advantage you have at altitude. Putting a boot heel on guys in the fourth quarter and finishing guys off, and that's the type of guys we're looking for.
Matt, this is about your 20th combine. What's the best part?
I think probably being able to sit down and visit with these guys, talk to them and get to know them. We've seen them on tape. We know what they can do. We know their backgrounds. It's just nice to sit down and talk to them and kind of get to know their personalities.
What are you looking for in those meetings? It's only like 15 minutes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're really looking for anything you could take away that helps you in the evaluation process. So that can be positive, that can be negative. I mean, you can find out things you didn't know about a certain kid, both good or bad, peel back the layers and get to know them.
The drill's finally getting started here on the field. Take us into the process here. What do you guys do in the booth?
We're watching these guys move around. We're watching things like burst and suddenness and flexibility and bend and some of the things that you don't necessarily see on tape, that are easier to see up close live. And again, when you see them go back to back to back to back to back, you can really kind of start to determine that there's some difference between this guy and that guy in terms of his short area quickness or whatnot. So really being able to see these guys, like I said, back to back to back is big for us.
We see Vic Fangio sitting down there. What's it been like having him involved in this process now?
It's great. Vic's been great. He's been around the league a long time. I mean, this is, my 20th combine. It's probably his 40th combine. And so, there's a lot to learn from him, as well. And as we go here, it's going to be interesting to see what he looks for in players. And he's given us a good indication of what he's looking for out of us in terms of finding guys defensively and offensively that fit our scheme. And so, we'll continue to get familiar with each other as we go along through the process, but it's been great so far.
That's the important thing, right? Meshing the two. You got the system, and now you got to find the players to just sort of make that all work together, right?
It is. I mean, I think it's probably one of the most underrated things in the league is making sure that your personnel and your coaching staff are all on the same page.
I know it's pretty early in the process, but what do you think about this year's class?
I think it's a good class. I mean, there are a lot of good football players. There were a lot of juniors, well over 100 juniors that declared. So got a lot of good young players and talented guys. It'll be up to us to sift through them and find the ones that fit for us.
Any positions deeper than others?
I think it's a pretty deep O-line draft. I think there's some good offensive linemen, tackles and guards, centers, some good top centers out there this year. Some good pass rushers in this draft. There's some good corners. So, like every draft, there's strength at certain positions and then not as much depth at other positions. And you just you take that into consideration when you start and hope that it works the way that you plan when you start the draft.
Last year's Broncos rookie class featured a lot of captains, a lot of seniors. Is that going to be a priority again this year?
I think it will be. I mean, last year was not rocket science. I mean, we simply went toward guys that were really high character and decided not to take a lot of risk, on talented guys that may have a little bit of a checkered past. So we went with captains, dedicated guys, dependable guys we could count on, guys who were good in the locker room. And I think as we go forward here, you can probably rest assured that we'll concentrate on a lot of those same type guys.
Do you ever meet a player and say, hey, that looks like a Bronco?
Yeah, I mean, you do. I mean, as we interview guys at night, there's guys that stand out. There's guys that jump out that you think like, man, I'd love to be that guy's teammate, or that's the kind of guy I liked playing with when I was playing. And you kind of make those determinations in your head. But I mean, we have guys come in and out of the room all the time that in my mind, I'm going, he'd be great for us.
Last one for you. Who are we taking at 10 then?
I have no idea.
All right, Matt. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Bill.
it.
You bet.